get the Hey, it was good, people. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, today I got my partner, man, ready or not on here, man.
Yo, yo.
And what we want to do today is kind of shine some light on the trucking industry, especially if you're thinking about starting your own business. I've been in trucking for 12 years now, and I've been running for myself for 11 years. And I always get the question, people asking, should they go ahead and buy a truck? Is it a good time to buy a truck? And how much money do they need to get started? And I was just asked this question as recently as maybe about 3 weeks ago, right? And so, yes, in my opinion, it's always a good time to get in trucking. If you have your CDL, if you want to buy your truck, but it's not the best time in trucking to buy your own truck and try to get your own authority and run under your own company. It's just not a good time for that. But if you buy a truck and you lease it own to a good company, and there are a couple good ones out there, maybe three or four. I won't name any, but just do your research and figure out what works best for you. But in my opinion, it's always a good time to try to get your feet wet, man. Start working for yourself because ain't nothing like being your own boss, man. But that's with anything, and people have to remember too. Everybody's not meant to be a boss because it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take some investing, and a lot of people just don't do that. You know what I mean? Like if that's not something you're good at, then it's probably not for you. Especially trying to start your own trucking company. It's probably not for you. I would always advise somebody if they have the money to go get their own truck and lease it on because that's the beginning of getting your own company. You know what I mean? First you start with your own truck and you figure out the ins and out of trucking. In my opinion, what you think about it? How long you been in trucking?
9 years for me.
Hmm.
Um, it is beneficial for you to have your own truck if you can pay it off in a decent time, because then you cut down your overhead to be able to weather, you know, when the rates go low, when the rates are high, and all that. So when the rates are high, you're gonna eat better. When the rates are low, you're not having to worry about paying. It depending on if you're doing a lease to purchase or you write out doing a monthly payment. You're not paying 1,400 to 1,700 dollars a week. And if you the one week that you got sick or the truck was down, you done went straight to the red.
Hmm.
So it all just depends on if you have a good plan put together, which is what could help you.
See, and that's kind of what I was saying about getting your own truck and leasing to somebody,
Hmm.
because when you lease your truck to a major company, the rates don't affect you. You're not affected by the rates.
Mm.
Everybody's affected by the fuel prices. That's just everybody's going to be affected by that. But if it's not your company, you don't really get affected by the rates because when you sign up to lease to a company and they say, "Hey, we're going to pay you $1 a mile," it's always going to be $1 a mile. If the rates change, that's going to affect them. Not you as a driver, but
Hmm.
having your own truck company, now that affects you, and also like you were saying, the maintenance, the breakdowns,
Yeah.
which another benefit to that leasing to a company is a lot of times if you have your own truck leased to a company and you break down, your company will help you repair it, and get the money back on the back end, maybe take a little bit out of every check. And you don't have that if you buy your own truck
Hmm.
and you start your own company. You don't have that. You're responsible for the truck, the trailer, the maintenance. You got 18 tires on that damn thing. You know.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I know we were talking recently. You were kind of toying with if you were going to go ahead and get you a truck. If you thought it was a good time, would you come up? What you decide to do?
Well, for me, it was more or less the down payment than it is the truck. Um, I still feel like the money is there to get your own truck, but as long as you got like the right company to be leased on, like you said, if you lease on the right truck, like the right company, you got freight to be able to continue your company. But if you ain't got a good company and you get up underneath them and you buy your own truck, and what if you break down and you already not getting the loads? That can
Hmm.
hurt you.
Right,
And
right,
so
true.
it was just more or less, um, the amount of money that they were asking. It's not that I had bad credit or anything like that. They actually got proved with the underwriting and all that was good. It was
Hmm.
just simply that the money amount of money that they wanted me to drop, I wasn't willing to give that away uh off top. Not at this
Okay,
moment. Not in this economy right now.
right. So what's your plan right now as far as trucking? You think you're gonna just hold off on getting a truck and leasing, or you just gonna stay where you at? You with a company right now?
Well, I am with a company still.
Hmm.
Still running, still doing my
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
I'm just been thinking about transitioning over into the flatbed business now. So I'm in the process of looking into that.
Good thing you brought that up. Flatbed. That's another good point. Flatbed. A lot of people don't know that is, I would say, one of the best ways to go if you were to get into this business, whether you lease own or you get with a company. The advantage of flat. I've been doing flatbed about 3 years now, and the advantage of flatbed after doing reefer and doing dry van, I don't spend 6 hours getting loaded, and I don't spend 6 hours getting unloaded. Now I'm not gonna say it never happens because it's first come first serve. If I show up and it's 5 6 trucks ahead of me, then I gotta wait. But on average, backing up to a dock and you sitting there and wait. What? Let me ask you this: what's the longest you waited to get loaded or unloaded since you've been doing trucking?
Whew, a day.
A whole day.
I got caught up a whole day, and especially like I said, one of the worst companies to go and deliver for, because they deal with the lumpers is like Dollar General. One of the
Dollar
worst
General.
companies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um,
One of the worst shippers.
all right. Well, receiving or shipping.
Receiver, shipper,
Now I don't
receiver.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know if they shipping. They've always received on my end
Mm-hmm.
whenever I deliver to them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of the worst companies I've ever dealt with. That I swear, like anytime I see that load, I would never take that load. So no.
Whole day. Let me see. As far back as I can remember, it's been a minute since I did drive in, but I want to say 8 hours. I want to say I spent 8 hours just sitting in my truck, backed up to a door, waiting to be unloaded, and
Mm,
that was miserable because with the FMCSA they got these rules and these drive hours,
mm,
and you get so many hours on duty a day, and
mm,
and they don't care if you're sitting at a dock not driving, that time is still ticking. So the eight
mm.
hours that I spent at the dock ate into my drive time. So by the time I got unloaded, I got about 2 3 hours to make the drive, and then I'm stuck with this load to the next day and still got to do a 10-hour run. So that ate
Right.
up 2 days.
But it also goes into clock management. So if you know, you really can't tell if it is or if it ain't gonna be that long when you
Mhm.
get to some of these facilities, because
Exactly.
you could be on time and before time. It's a game of hurry up and wait,
Hmm.
hurry up
Hmm.
and wait some more.
Hmm.
Um, but reefer and drive in, I mean, like even with refrigerated freight, depending on who you go with or who you dealing with,
Hmm.
I've dealt with 10, 12 hour shifts where my whole clock reset for me, going off duty, just sitting over there waiting on them. And that's why I just said I think I didn't ran my course of wanting to do drive in,
Hmm.
uh and it's not exciting for me for drive in or reefer anymore at this
Right.
point. So I think I want to get into something that's a little bit more exciting. Especially after you're doing something for so long, you get in
Hmm.
a repetitive situation, and then you see to where you become miserable, you become unhappy, um, mentally and physically. So that it can take a toll on you. It can
Hmm.
drain you, and it eats into your health.
Yeah. Just recently we were talking about how the rates are down, and
Mm,
again, like you mentioned earlier, but this mostly applies to own operators that are
mm,
affected by the rates. But even when
mm,
you're working for a company, like some of these companies, a lot of companies, I say since 2022,
mm,
at least probably a lot more, but 10 that I know of,
Mhm.
major companies that went out of business because these rates are so low.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them within this last year, even going
Mm-hmm.
into December of 2025, going into 2026 now. Closed shop, just like
Yep.
they didn't get the government contracts back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were really depending on. That was what was their bread and butter to, keep them above float in certain areas. Some of them had to just close down in the states that they were in and just go into a smaller hub until things, get a little bit, back to more motion. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just sad because I think it was like Yellow was one of them. Um, it was a couple of them that I didn't
It's
seen
been a
on here,
few of them. It's
like
been a
mega
few of 'em.
companies,
Major
like
companies. Yeah, major. Um, mm. Oh man, I want to say it's this company. They got blue trucks. Man, they went out. I think they were flatbed too.
mhm,
Uh, because there's a guy that parks on the yard where I keep my trucks,
mhm,
and he showed up one day, asked me, "Hey man, I was getting in my truck." He said, "Hey man, when was the last time you saw my truck? Did you see it this weekend?"
mhm,
I said, "I think I saw it. Wow, what's up?" He's like, "Man, I think they came and picked the truck up because they closed the doors." So he was like, "But all my stuff was in the truck, so they riding around just repoing these trucks."
mhm.
So, but I can't remember the name of that company, but they went under too, and that was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So again, rates are horrible, man. I feel like they're really trying to. I think it started out trying to push out the little man. There's too
Mhm,
many minorities,
mhm,
in my opinion.
mhm,
That's black, Hispanic, or whatever, all non-whites. There's too many of us going out trying to start our own businesses,
mhm.
and major companies are probably complaining to Congress or complaining to people that can control things, and they start doing it from the top.
Okay, I got a question for you. So, how do you feel about non-domicile CDL?
Mm, I mean, it don't really affect me. I don't.
Not
I
affecting you, just how do you feel about that
uh,
being a topic because that is a hot topic right now. So,
mm, honestly, I don't know how I feel about it, man. What I will say is that I did feel like, and I'm not for ICE or against ICE and all that, you know what I mean. But I did feel like the whole scooping up of the illegals, they were
mm,
focusing on trucking as well.
mm,
They were picking up, but it's not just Hispanics, you know what I mean? They were picking up, Indians, Africans, anybody who wasn't from America. And I really thought that after they got rid of a lot of those illegals, because they are over here illegal and they
mm,
are infringing on the business that Americans that are from here and make a living here and keep our money and spend our money here, they are taken away from it and they are affecting our jobs. And um, another thing that they do, they come over here and drain our economy and send the money back home. You know what I mean? Without even putting the money back into America. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm. And I agree with you 100% on that. And that's my only flaw that I dislike about it because, okay, we already got a lot of communities that we have that's low income in communities right now, and the kids, our children, don't get the proper, money being funded into those areas already as it is. And when you come in and
Mm-hmm.
you go and get a job and you take that money and then you go bring it to a whole nother country, that
Mm-hmm.
money is not being put back into the taxes properly because we know half of y'all not even paying taxes properly.
That's for
So
sure.
how is it going into our community? And that's where I myself draw the line where I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, hey, our children is the new generation that's coming up behind us, and we need to make sure that they get the best we can provide for them with what
Mm-hmm.
we have available. But if
Mm-hmm.
we are not putting back into our communities, but you're able to go and set up a shop, a convenience store, you're able to
Mm-hmm.
set up these different things in our communities,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing's being put back and poured back and being built playgrounds, schools, uh, uh, extracurricular activities for them. If nothing's being put back in, how are you helping us? We can go into a lot of these towns when we're driving as truck drivers, and you can see they're basically wastelands.
Right.
And most of these people we know are living up off of what? The state.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no jobs. The jobs are gone.
Mm-hmm.
When you go and ride through them, you basically see run down buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it comes into, I don't mind you coming over here to try to get the American dream.
The
But when you
legal way.
come on the legal way,
Yeah.
but also put in to the community as well.
Right. Which you don't see.
But then
Yeah.
you hate how I hate Americans and how Americans do things and this and that. But why are you here to come suck from our economy and say you want the American dream, but then don't want to abide from the American people? You don't like the American people's products. Just my opinion.
No, those are all facts. I think another thing that people don't understand is that people think that when the fuel prices are high, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back when Joe Biden was in office, and that's when we ran together. What fuel get up to, like almost $5 a gallon? It got like high fours. It was like high fours though.
Yeah,
it was a high, because remember when we were doing the numbers every week, running that same lane. I think we were doing like 900 a week on gas, close to 1,000.
Oh, we definitely were spending about 1,000, and then I said, we could have probably and just depending on because we run so many different lanes.
It was like 900.
We could have maximized that a little bit, but it's just the thing of not knowing where you're going and how long you're going to have to stay, and not trying to run out of gas.
But my point is, when Joe Biden took office, I remember we did 1 week and we did the fuel on it, and it was that same lane we always ran.
1,200, I think it was.
No, we was almost at $2,000 that week. It was like 1,800 for fuel for that same lane, because everything doubled. You gotta like when we was doing 900 to 1,000. I know you was just worried about your check every week. You weren't really tripping on the gas.
No, I was out.
Hey, I was paying attention to the gas.
Hey, look, we always worry about the check, but my whole thing is, I'm running this just like how you running this. I'm trying to make sure I'm maximizing my dollar just as much as you trying to maximize yours. So I'm worried about gas, but I don't remember it being that high.
Hey, man, because you got to realize it doubled. We was paying like $2.34, $2.60, at a time, and then when Joe Biden them came in and jacked gas up, look it up. Look up the gas prices in 2020.
I'm about to see if I think
2023. Look in 2023.
No, I think I got this over here, so I'm just gonna see if I can find, because I got some loads that we done ran from back in the day. See, I got some old stuff that used to break down in the
already. I'm telling you, 1,800 1 week, because it was cutting into both our pockets.
Let's see.
Just the gas.
Because I don't remember what date these were on these directly. Because I know we was doing JB Hunt, Kimberly and Clark.
Well, 2021 and 2022 was the best years, and for that was the.
This might be one of my old ones, so this might be the ones I was with.
While you're doing that, let me pull this up right quick. This is something from Wave Freight.
Yeah, this is an older one.
About what's going on with the freights right now.
This is before the prices got high up. This is one of the first books I had. I got another one we can pull some on another.
Delivery fees may apply.
The U.S. trucking industry continues to face a harsh economic reality. Spot rates have failed to keep pace with inflation, squeezing carrier margins and contributing to significant financial pressure on truckers nationwide. Here is a clear visual of the disconnect. Spot trucking rates via the Sonar National Truckload Index overlaid against the Consumer Price Index CPI. Truckload spot rate Sonar, NTI.USA versus CPI Sonar, CPI USA, source GoSonar.com. As of mid-January 2026, national trucking spot rates are showing signs of strength following a late 2025 rally. With recent levels approaching multi-year highs, the National Truckload Index is at $2.75 per mile according to Sonar, inclusive of fuel. However, If spot rates had simply matched the cumulative growth in CPI since March 2020, before freight markets initially surged early in the pandemic, they would be significantly higher, closer to the equivalent of $3.50 per mile or more. That is a substantial gap of roughly 27%. This disparity is not abstract. It translates directly into real-world pain for owner-operators and small to mid-sized carriers, who bear the brunt of escalating operational costs. Fuel prices, truck maintenance, insurance, tires, driver wages, and regulatory compliance have all risen sharply since 2020. Yet revenue per mile has not kept up. Many truckers are operating at break-even or worse, with some exiting the industry entirely, a trend that has contributed to gradual capacity tightening observed in late 2025 and into early 2026. The chart highlights the dramatic post-pandemic trajectory. Spot rates peaked sharply in 2021 to 2022 amid supply chain chaos and booming demand. They then collapsed through 2023 and much of 2024, bottoming out well below pre-pandemic adjusted levels. Recent months have shown upward movement, with spot rates.
That's pretty much a gist of what I was just saying. So pretty much in 2023, well, 2021, 2022 was the last time that we really saw growth and, anything majorly beneficial in trucking. Since then, everything is going up. Like the fuel is up, the every part that you got to put on your truck, including tires, is up. The maintenance is up. The insurance is up. So it's to a point where, it's almost like truckers out here really living check to check, man.
It ain't no really truckers are. You got to understand, everybody's pretty much probably bringing around between $700 and $1,100, $700 to $1,100 a week in this trucking game, unless you really just don't want no home time at all, and you want to be on here 6.5 days of just straight running, and then do your 34 exactly to the T.
Which you got some people doing that. But if you got a family and you're trying to be at home and run you some local, like you say, you're lucky if you bring home $1,100-$1,200 a week.
And that's really what the average of what everybody's seeing right now, while all the other trucking companies and the mega companies are really bringing in, because they got major contracts. So with them having major contracts, and then they only giving you a small portion of it, and after your taxes, your insurance, and all that is taken out, you're not really walking away with much to really just put yourself above what you used to.
And you're in trucking. Might as well be at the warehouse.
Oh yeah, and be at home.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So instead out there on the road risking your life, but yeah, that was a good one, man. We can do some more research on it, man. And so to answer the question, I wouldn't advise anybody. Oh, I forgot to get to one point. So I answered the question about, is it a good time to get in trucking and start your own company? The question I didn't answer, a guy asked me, how much money do I need if I want to start my own company? And so I told the guy starting out about 30 grand. And that's honestly, that's on the low end, because that's putting 10,000 down on the truck. You got to buy a trailer. You got to have some insurance, and you got to have some money, a little cushion in case you get a breakdown.
And that's yours. And I was going to say 50. You need at least about 50,000 just to be on the real safe side of being able to run your truck. If anything happened, be able to still pay your bills, and still be able to pay. Because if any breakdown can cost you from $10,000 to $15,000 starting off almost. And if you got a good mechanic.
Side note: if you got 50,000, don't get in truck and keep doing what you're doing.
And that might be your 401k.
Well, shit, man, we're gonna wrap it up, man. So you can get to what you're getting to, man, and get to what I'm getting to, man.
It's for sure. Ready or not.
All right, bet. I'll let me.